Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating chapter all about grassroots democracy. Specifically, we're looking at the Panchayati Raj system. We're going to break down exactly how the world's largest democracy governs itself right down at the local village level. It's a massive logistical feat, and honestly, the way it actually functions on the ground is just incredible.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, why local government matters. 2, we'll step inside the Gram Panchayat. 3, real leaders inspiring change. 4, empowering the next generation. 5, scaling up to the block and district levels. And finally, exploring the ancient roots of democracy.
Section 1. Why local government matters. Going from the macro to the micro. We often think of democracy on this massive national scale, right? Prime ministers, presidents, giant parliament buildings, and huge capital cities. But to really understand this chapter, we have to look at what M.K. Gandhi famously said, the real India lives in its villages. This idea is essentially the anchor for our whole explainer today. If you want to understand the heartbeat of the nation, you absolutely have to zoom in and understand its villages. Let's ground this in reality for a second.
Picture a place like Lakshmanpur. It's a beautiful little village nestled up in the Himalayan foothills. We're talking about a tight-knit community of maybe 200 houses, a population of around 700 people, mostly farmers. Now, they face real daily issues that directly impact their lives. We're talking about repairing a main dirt road washed out by a storm, making sure there's enough water for the crops, or dealing with a dispute if someone's harvest gets stolen. They can't exactly pack up and run to the state or national capital to solve every single one of these problems, right?
And here's the kicker. Lakshmanpur is just one tiny drop in the ocean. 600,000. India has over 600,000 villages just like it. Out of a massive population that recently crossed 1.4 billion people, almost two-thirds live in rural areas. Just let that sink in. The sheer scale of that administrative challenge is literally mind-boggling.
So that brings us to this massive, pressing question. How do we govern ourselves in a society this complex? How on earth do you make sure the voices, the urgent needs, and the local disputes of hundreds of millions of people spread across hundreds of thousands of individual villages are actually heard and addressed effectively?
Section 2. Inside the Gram Panchayat, self-government in action. Well, the structural solution to that huge question is the Panchayati Raj system. Think of it as a system of local self-government, basically a village council. It brings decision-making much, much closer to the people. It's purpose-built to tackle local issues and drive development directly inside the community itself. This is the ultimate mechanism to ensure that government schemes and benefits don't just get stuck in a bureaucratic web, but actually reach the grassroots level. It is self-government in its purest, most direct form.
So, who actually runs this thing? First up, you have the Gram Sabha. This is made up of all the adult voters in the village. And they don't just cast a ballot and go home for 5 years. They actively meet, discuss, and take decisions together. Then they elect a head or a president, usually called the Sarpanch or Pradhan. To keep the wheels turning, there's a Panchayat secretary. They handle all the administration, call the meetings, and keep the official records. And finally, in many areas, you have the Patwari, an officer who maintains the land records. And get this, it's a bit funny. The chapter notes that sometimes these Patwaris are out there settling modern boundary disputes using land maps that are literally generations old.
Section 3. Real leaders inspiring change. The human element. Now, any governance structure is only as good as the people who step up to lead it, right? And this chapter highlights 3 incredible real-life Sarpanch who absolutely transformed their communities. First, Jnaneshwar Kumbal from Maharashtra. Kumbal is a transgender person who was elected Sarpanch by defeating 6 other candidates, championing this beautiful motto, Lok Seva, Gram Seva, meaning service to the village is service to the public. Next, there's Vandana Bahadur Maida from Madhya Pradesh. She completely defied strict patriarchal norms to become the very first female Sarpanch in her Bhil community, and went on to drastically improve local education and sanitation. And finally, Popatra Bagushi Pawar, also from Maharashtra. He rallied his entire village around rainwater harvesting and tree planting, and literally turned a drought-prone wasteland into a green, prosperous area. He even won the prestigious Padma Shri Award for it back in 2020. These folks are absolute barrier-breaking champions. Section 4. Empowering the next generation, the Bal Panchayat. Now, imagine a government that doesn't just listen to voting adults, but genuinely gives a formal democratic platform to kids.
Through the child-friendly Panchayat initiative, children actually hold Bal Sabha or youth council meetings, sometimes right under a village tree. It creates a real structural opportunity for them to express their opinions on matters that directly affect their well-being. And they don't just talk, they actively work with the village elders to solve community problems. And the tangible impact of giving kids this kind of democratic voice is just massive. For example, in Maharashtra, Bal Panchayats have successfully fought against child marriage and actually convinced parents to send kids who had dropped out right back to school. Up in Sikkim, the Sangku Radu Khandu Village Panchayat won awards because they actually listened to the kids and built safe compound walls for their schools, plus kitchens to cook hygienic midday meals. And in Rajasthan, this is wild. An amazing children's parliament made up of kids aged 8 to 14 formed an actual cabinet, managed schools, advocated for sanitation, and even won the World's Children's Honorary Award in 2001. I mean, that is just absolute proof that youth can lead today, not just tomorrow.
Section 5, Scaling Up, Block and District Levels.
Okay, so all of this village-level action is amazing. But what happens when a village needs something bigger? Say, a massive paved road connecting multiple regions or a large hospital. The Panchayati Raj handles this with a 3-tier system that works from the bottom up. Step 1, right at the base, is the village parishad, or Gram Panchayat we just talked about. Step 2 is the block panchayat, or Panchayat Samiti. This acts as a really crucial link by collecting the development plans from all the individual villages in a given area. And finally, step 3 is the district panchayat, or Zila Panchayat, sitting at the top of the local level, overseeing the broader district and coordinating directly with the state government. This scaled-up system is so vital because it pools all those local plans to secure the heavy funding needed for massive projects. We're talking things like the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which builds rural all-weather roads. But beyond just infrastructure, this entire structure is explicitly designed to empower everyone. At all 3 of these levels, there are special rules so disadvantaged sections of society are heard. Plus, there is a hard structural provision reserving 1/3 of the seats specifically for women, which guarantees systemic inclusion across the board. Section 6. Ancient Roots of Democracy. The Arthashastra. Now, while the specific gears and mechanisms of the Panchayati Raj might seem fairly modern, the underlying philosophy of structured, tiered local governance in India is profoundly ancient. This brings us to a really remarkable text from the chapter, the Arthashastra. It was written by Kautilya, who is also known as Chanakya, over 2,300 years ago. It's a masterful ancient text on statecraft, detailing exactly how a state should be structured, how it should be run, and how to make the economy prosper. Seriously, just listen to this translation from the text regarding local administration. The king shall establish a Sangrahana for every 10 villages, a Karvatika for every 100, a Dronamuka for every 400, and a Sthania for every 800 villages. That is absolutely amazing, right? A tiered, clustered approach to local administration was literally being mapped out thousands of years ago. The structural DNA of connecting small village units up into larger, more powerful regional headquarters has been present in the region for over 2 millennia. So the crucial point we should all take away from this chapter is this. If an ancient text brilliantly envisioned this tiered structure 2,300 years ago, how might our local governance continue to evolve in the next century? As we face entirely new, unpredictable challenges in this modern, hyper-connected world, how will the Gram Sabhas and Bal Panchayats of tomorrow adapt to serve their people? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring, keep asking big questions about the systems around you, and I will definitely see you in the next one.